Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I'll be playing the Arena Open Day 2 for Streets of New Capenna Limited. This is going to be a traditional draft event of Streets of New Capenna. So we'll be doing a regular draft and then we'll be playing best of 3 rounds. There is money on the line if we can get an insanely high win rate here. We're kicked out after only 2 losses, but we have to make it to 6 wins to get some cash prizes. But those cash prizes are pretty massive, $1,000 at 6 wins. So obviously I'll be doing my best here, but I am about a 60% win rate limited player. So on average, I'm going to get either nothing or 2,500 gems here. But as we saw in the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Arena Open, you never know what's going to happen. So without further ado, let's hop into this draft and I'll be doing my best here. See if we can't get some form of rewards, at least some gems. That would be pretty sweet. All right. Pack 1 here, we have a pretty solid white rare, the Extraction Specialist, a 3-mana 3/2 lifelink's already a pretty good deal, and if you manage to return a cheap creature to the board, this is going to be very good, because then when this dies, you start using that cheap creature. It is locked up until this dies. White's also one of the better colors in the format, so it's nice to start with a white card here. Other than that, in this pack, there is a Bouncer's Beatdown, which is a solid green removal spell, and a Corrupt Court Official, probably one of the best commons in this pack, really good with the black synergies in the format, the casualty style spells. Yeah, those are my top 3 cards for sure, and I think I'm just going to take Extraction Specialist. Pick 2 now, we really don't have a solid follow-up to that. Rumor Gatherer is okay, but the low toughness is a huge downside, and the card's not super worth it unless you are getting 2 creatures on board each turn. I think it's probably better in Sealed, where you can deal with having slower creatures, but in Draft, some of the decks can be pretty aggressive, and having a creature that's a very low stat line for the 3 mana is pretty rough, so not a fan of that. I guess there's like Duskmangler here, has been a big finisher in the black decks. Majestic Metamorphosis has been a very solid combat trick for drawing a card when you cast it. And then there's like Dapper Shieldmate, I guess, is a fine white creature. Disdainful Stroke's an okay little counterspell. Pretty weak pack altogether. I might just take Shieldmate to stick with what I'm doing here, but I'm not super sure on that one. I'm just going to go Majestic Metamorphosis here. Pack 1, pick 3 now, we see Skycrier, which has been one of the better white commons. Just a flying lifelinker has been very good, and that activated ability has actually put in some work, interestingly enough, even though each player draws the cards. Quick Draw Dagger's fun if you have a bunch of creatures on the ground and you're getting very aggressive, then that card's pretty okay, but if we do end up in white-blue, we're likely to have a ton of flyers here. Spar's Adjudicators is one of the better mana fixers in the format. It's good in a green-white deck, or a white-blue deck, or a white-blue-green deck, so that could be a pickup here. Probably between Skycrier and Spar's Adjudicators is my favorite cards here. I think I'm actually, in the interest of staying as open as possible, going to take the mana-fixing Adjudicators here. Pack 1, pick 4 now. See some decent green cards, High-Rise Sawjack and Courier's Briefcase. Nothing to run home about, but they're fine. Best card in the pack's probably Girdergoons in black, being quite good. And other than that, more Maestro's mana fixing. All the mana fixing we've seen so far has pretty much been blue, black, red so far. Even Duskmangler in black is quite good. Maybe we push in on black here. Yeah, I don't think any of these green cards are that exciting. Shouldn't take Girdergoons here, I think. Start getting open to pushing into black if that's what we're going to get past. Pretty weak pack again. Warm Welcome is okay in green. Glamorous Outlaw is okay if we end up in Maestros. Another mana-fixing creature here. And then there's Riveteer's Overlook for red-black mana fixer. Maybe we're pushing into Maestros here because we're not seeing a ton of great blue and white. I guess we do still see Majestic Metamorphosis here, which is fine if we want to keep going down that path. Glamorous Outlaw and Majestic Metamorphosis I think are my top 2 here. Suppose Metamorphosis we could play even if we're in Maestros, although it would make a little less sense. We'll take a Metamorphosis. Pack 1, pick 6. Well, for blue-black there's a Snooping Newsy, which is fine. Certainly not exciting, but one of the better cards out of this pack. Other than that, there's like a Fake Your Own Death. Not a super solid pack again. These packs are getting picked clean very quickly, but that is what I would expect from the top tier of competition. I guess we'll go Snooping Newsy here, potentially pushing into blue-black. Now we can take another Snooping Newsy or an Obscura Storefront. If we're seeing Snooping Newsies pick 7, blue-black should be pretty open for us, which is nice. I think we can start committing to a color pair then. Yep, and then we see Girdergoon still quite late, and a Rooftop Nuisance and Majestic Metamorphosis. Blue-black looks like a potential place to be here. I'm going to pick up the Girdergoons. It's really nice for the abilities that want 5 or more different mana values in your graveyard. They don't trigger particularly often, but if you want them to ever trigger in your life, you're going to need cards like Girdergoons that can get a 5-drop in your graveyard pretty easily with that Blitz cost. Now we have not a lot here. Demon's Due and Case the Joint are fine little draw spells, but draw spells that don't impact the board in any way haven't been super great in the format. I think I'm just going to take a security bypass here. This can win some games, making an unblockable creature to just keep slowly hitting your opponent with. Conniving a lot is nice. Now we've got Dig Up the Body, Disdainful Stroke, Scuttling Butler, or Ominous Parcel. Mainly Dig Up the Body or Disdainful Stroke. Dig Up the Body is some self-mill for that blue-black deck. That would make a decent amount of sense, but Disdainful Stroke's a nice counterspell. I'm just going to go Disdainful Stroke here. Dig Up the Bodies tend to go super late pretty much all the time. Backstreet Bruiser or Little Chats. Both very filler, kind of already filling out the 2-drop slot a bit. We already have 2 Snooping Newsies, and I expect if there's going to be more out of these packs, they're going to get passed to us pretty easily. This will definitely be Tramway Station, so we're open to splashing in some red for Maestro's Bomb Rares. And these cards are not good. Throw them in the sideboard. And now let's see what we have here. Pack 2, pick 1. Wow, a phenomenal pack here. We have Hypnotic Grifter, great way to just keep conniving throughout the game. Night Clubber, great way to potentially wipe your opponent's board of all their citizen tokens and fish tokens. And Girdergoons, which is just, again, always a great on-rate common. I kind of like Night Clubber over any of this, but Hypnotic Grifter is very tempting. I think I still just go Night Clubber, though. And that is what I'm going to go with here. Now we have Syndicate Infiltrator, which will almost definitely wheel. That would help our deck out, and then Raffine's Silencer, which is much less likely to wheel and is also quite a strong card. 3 mana for a 1/1, but it connives when it enters the battlefield, so it could be a 2/2, and then when it dies, it gives something -X/-X, where X is its power, so it's really great with your casualty cards, and just really great at blocking even up to like 4/4 creatures, so big fan of Raffine's Silencer or Expendable Lackey here. Raffine's Silencer, Expendable Lackey, or Waterfront District, and then we hope to wheel Syndicate Infiltrator. I think I go Raffine's Silencer. Pack 2, pick 3. Another Girdergoons, a Wingshield Agent are the top 2 cards for me. Probably go with the Wingshield Agent for its uncommon status. Pretty high power level. It's a 3-drop. It'll be our third 3-drop. If we are going just blue-black here. It's potential we go Obscura and keep using Extraction Specialist, blue-white-black. Pack 2, pick 4. This looks like a pretty easy Echo Inspector, although there's also mana fixing, but it looks like we can pretty easily end up in just a 2-color deck here where mana fixing is not required because blue-black's looking nice and open. So I think I'm going to take the Echo Inspector over the mana fixing. Definitely will take the mana fixing over mediocre creatures, but Echo Inspector is not a mediocre creature. Alright, well, if there were any mana fixing in this pack, this is where we would take it, because most of the cards here are pretty mediocre. So I suppose we're on Deal Gone Bad, the mediocre removal spell, or Broker's Veteran, the mediocre 2-drop creature, because we only have 2 mana creatures right now. I think I like the Deal Gone Bad here. We don't have any hard removal yet. Now we have a Witness Protection, or Waterfront District. Not a big fan of Witness Protection, especially in blue-black, where we're definitely hoping to pick up better removal, so I'm going to take Waterfront District here. This will help hit our double black on cards like Night Clubber and potentially Murder in the future. Run Out of Town is probably the best card of this pack. Really nice kind of tempo removal spell. You put target non-land permanent on top or bottom of its owner's library. The owner gets to choose. But still, huge tempo swing basically makes them skip their turn. If they spend 4 or 5 mana on turn 4 or turn 5 dumping out a creature, and then you just put it right back on top of their library. If you're on the aggressive, that's a great way to just chip in for more damage and have them basically skip their turn, redoing the same thing they did last turn, the turn after that. We We have Crooked Custodian for another 2-drop if we want to get super aggressive, or we just have Revel Ruiner for an evasive threat. I think I'm on Custodian here. Revel Ruiner hasn't been super good, just real low toughness there. And we're really missing on 2-drops, but I'm not a huge fan of Custodian. Pack 2, pick 9. Solid little combat trick here. Fake your own death. Make your creature enough power to beat whatever is blocking or blocked by it, and then bring it right back to the board with a treasure token alongside it. Pretty nice combat trick. Works really well with enter the battlefield effects. So if you have like Windshield Agent and it's already lost its shield counter, and then you fake your own death, you'll bring it back and it'll have its shield counter again. Or if you bring back like a Night Clubber, then you're going to bring that back and do -1/-1 to everything again. So some really nice synergies with that. Expendable Lackey is really nice with casualty spells and connive spells, two things that blue and black are definitely capable of doing. We already have at least a little chat to casualty. We've got security bypass and Echo Inspector and Rafine Silencer to connive. So that's pretty nice. Cutthroat Contenders if you are a highly aggressive deck, but I'm not really going to play Extract the Truth, so I guess we'll take Cutthroat Contender just in case. I'm definitely not going to play Incriminate. This card's awful. It always kills their second best creature, which in most instances is not going to be good enough. All right, we're on pack 3, pick 1, and unfortunately we didn't open up anything in our pack. Always a huge bummer when you open up the pack and there's just like nothing for your deck. I guess there's Expendable Lackey, Disdainful Stroke, or Broker's Veteran, but certainly not anything pick 1 worthy here for a blue-black deck. So a bit of a sad time there. I guess we could splash in a Pugilist. Not super pumped for that, so I'm just going to take Expendable Lackey. All right, we have a Void Rend, which is basically just murder, except that it can hit a Rabble Rousing. But it's harder to cast. We have to start putting white into the deck, and we don't have any white mana fixing yet. Pretty sure we just take murder over Void Rend, but those are basically the two picks here. We either take Void Rend, try splashing that in with some white mana, or we just take murder, because we're 100% going to be able to cast that all the time. Whereas Void Rend is going to be a little more iffy. Yeah, I think it's just murder here. Wow, things have dried up from this direction. Bunch of random red cards, none of which are going to work particularly good for us or particularly well for us. Forge Boss is like even in a deck with a lot of blitz, it's just like okay, unless you're specifically Rakdos Sack. That's really blitzing. We have some blitz, but not enough to make Forge Boss worth a splash. And none of these red cards are worth a splash. Guess we just take an Ominous Parcel just in case we really need mana fixing. This pack's got some action, pick 4. We have another Girder Goons. Don't have too much top end, we only have 2 Girder Goons right now, so another one of that would be pretty solid. But Make Disappear would be solid as well. Nice cheap counterspell. It's got that casualty, so you can even use it later in the game, countering something unless your opponent pays 4. So I like Make Disappear, I like Girder Goons here. Think I'm still looking for more just beef, so I'm going to take another Girder Goons. Got another Fake Your Own Death, a Sewer Crocodile, and a Little Chat. I think I'm going to take another copy of a Little Chat here. I think now we've got triple Girder Goons, we've got some of the beef going on. Although, again, not a ton of creatures, still just 12 creatures and not a lot of big ones. So Sewer Crocodile wouldn't be the end of the world, but those tend to go late, so maybe we can pick one up later. Take a Little Chat here. I guess we already have one, a Little Chat. We don't really need multiples. Yeah, let's just take something that we are kind of missing on a little bit here and take the Sewer Crocodile. Ooh, now we get another Snooping Newsy, another solid 2-drop, which is great because we are low on that front. Do have a couple Expendable Lackeys, so at least we have early game plays, but Snooping Newsy's nice here. Grizzly Sigil's nice as well, though. Grizzly Sigil or Snooping Newsy. Triple Snooping Newsy would be super nice, though we're milling ourselves a lot. Potentially getting that 5 card types. Grizzly Sigil. I'm going to go Newsy over the Sigil. I don't know 100% if that's correct. It's a very close one between the two. Snooping Newsy plays a lot better than it looks. And Grizzly Sigil plays pretty much just as good as it looks. It looks pretty good, to be honest. I'll take another black-red mana fixer just in case. But we're pretty unlikely to be slashing in red. Cutthroat Contender here. Another Fake Your Own Death or Broker's Veteran. I actually like Broker's Veteran more than I like Crooked Custodian in this deck. I think, just because it comes in untapped for blocking purposes. So I'm going to take a Broker's Veteran there. We'll take a Witness Protection here. I don't know if I'm running it. Definitely a sideboard option for us. Alright, I'm not in love with this deck. We didn't open any bombs, and some of the bombs in this format are monumentally disgusting. You got Rabble Rousing, you got all the family's lords, you got Fight Rigging, there's tons of just Broker's Ascendancy, tons of just super, super nasty bombs that can really up the power level of your deck. Unfortunately, we get 0 here. The biggest one that would have worked super well in our deck would have been the Maestro's Wrath effect. Hostile Takeover, because we have the double tramway station for it and everything now. Fortunately, we're just going to be a basic Dimir self-mill deck here, and hope for the best with it. Put everything on color in, and then start cutting cards out. So let's see. Move the creatures over. It's 18 creatures. Don't think we're that aggressive that we want Cutthroat Contenders. The other mediocre creatures, Crooked Custodian, Broker's Veteran, I don't like either of those that much. Maestro's Initiate I don't love for that 1 toughness against citizens, fish tokens, night clubbers, lots of stuff like that in this format. Does do something from your grave, but that's quite late in the game when it does. Yeah, Custodian or Veteran, one of those I kind of want to cut. I think the rest of our creatures, though, are really solid, except Sewer Crocodile, which is kind of just... We kind of need a boss creature. We need like a boss monster to come in and try to close out games. Cut 8 cards here. As far as removal goes, we have Run Out of Town for temporary removal, Deal Gone Bad, and Murder for full-on removal, and a counterspell of Disdainful Stroke. Might want to go in the sideboard. When you're talking draft, you can end up with a lot of decks like our deck here, where we have like 3 cards that cost more than 4 in the whole deck. So Disdainful Stroke maybe should sit in the sideboard, but definitely can get sided in quite often. Just not a big fan of Witness Protection. Dig Up the Body does seem okay in here. Get a little self-mill going on. Bring back our best creature. Demons do encase the joints are generally too slow. Just cutting 8 cards here. I'm probably cutting these. Definitely cutting Disdainful Stroke, Maestro's Initiate, the Contenders. And we only need to cut 2 more cards. Not in love with Security Bypass. Kind of just trying it out here. Don't even think it looks that good in this deck. Feels like the kind of deck we're going to kill all of their creatures that are too big for us to attack into. Or at least that's the plan. Yeah, I'll cut that. Then we need to cut 1 more card. Do we get aggro with Crooked Custodian, or do we play the mediocre power and toughness and just hope maybe sometimes we get a shield counter on something? Really don't like top decking Crooked Custodian late game. Broker's Veteran late game is actually a lot better, because not only does it come in untapped so you can get your chump block out of it, but if you top deck at late game, you probably have some other creature sitting on the board to get that shield counter. Maybe we run Crooked Custodian on the play and Broker's Veteran on the draw, since this is best of 3. So when we're likely to be super defensive every single time, we'll scoop up Broker's Veteran, but when we're on the play, we go for Crooked Custodian. When we're on the coin flip, which we're always on the coin flip at the start of a match, I don't actually know. Probably should just go with Broker's Veteran. And then I guess I'm running a Witness Protection. I really don't like that card much, but probably better than not running it. I don't know. We do have a lot of non-creature stuff already still. A little chat, Fake Your Own Death, Double Metamorphosis, Dig Up the Body, Murder, Run Out of Town, Deal Gone Bad. Only 3 of those are hard removal though. And 3 of those are combat trick style removal, Fake Your Own Death, Double Metamorphosis. Only 15 creatures in here. We're cutting down to 14 if we cut one of these 2. I'm just going to go with what I believe, and I believe Witness Protection is not very good. So I'm going to cut it. And I think this will be the deck that we're running with here. Very similar to how I felt about my Kamigawa Neon Dynasty draft deck. So maybe that's a good sign. So where I'm like, this is just a very consistent, average kind of deck here. Like we're doing what we're doing. We're self-milling, we're trading up combat tricks with our small creatures. And then we're dropping Girder Goons, getting some big stuff in the grave. Somehow we didn't wheel the 4-mana 3/3 flyer. That's rough. That's actually wild. Yeah, we got cut. We moved in to black-blue because we saw a bunch of Snooping Uzis late pack 1, as well as cards like Girder Goons going nice and late. So like black was looking pretty open for sure pack 1, and then the blue-black gold cards were as well. And then even having moved colors to not get cut, we got cut in pack 3 again. Yeah, that's wild that the 4-mana 3/3 flyer didn't wheel. Unfortunate. But yeah, again, feel pretty much how I felt about my Kamigawa deck here, where I'm like, this is a just average deck here. I've got nothing bomby and nothing splashy in it. So this is not a deck I would expect to do super well. I'd be happy with a 2-2 run or a 3-2 run with this deck. But obviously, I'm going to be dueling my heart out here, trying to get a better run than that. But don't know if this was the draft pod to do it. I'm pretty happy with how I drafted. Might have to watch it back, see if anything else looked particularly open. But this looks like a super solid, super consistent deck here. Just, again, no matter what we ended up in our draft pod, we weren't going to have this a super explosive bomby deck or a really good one in the best colors in the format in the brokers decks, because I don't think we saw a single Angelic Overseer or Jewel Thief or any of that kind of stuff that are just these mythic commons in the format that make blue, white, and green so good, or any of the solid blue, white, green uncommons or anything. So I don't think we were in like the dream draft table where we get to go for the nuts brokers pile or anything. So yeah, happy with this deck. Maybe we could have been like Rakdos Sack, because blue did get drafted pretty heavily, but our blue cards in this deck are pretty solid still. Echo Inspector, Wing Shield Agent, Double Lackey, Double Metamorphosis, Run Out of Town, a little chat. Broker's Veteran and Sewer Crocodile are pretty filler, but other than that, the blue cards are quite fine. Yeah, I'm going to stop going on a 20-minute rant and actually get into the gameplay here. So without further ado, see how well I can do in the Arena Open Day 2. Here we are in round 1 of the Arena Open. Our opponent won the coin flip, and they get to be on the play here. And this is a definite keep. Now that'll be a mulligan, and we mull to a 1-land hand here. We have a couple 4-drops and a 6-drop in hand. Another 4-drop here. We do have a couple 2-drops, but I feel like we have to mulligan to 5. And this is gonna have to do it for us. I mean, this is unironically the best hand that we've drawn, so see where it goes from here. Kind of want to get rid of a land here. At the same time, Broker's Veteran's not going to do too much, so do I keep Dig Up the Body and get rid of a land? I don't know, Night Clubber is like the strongest card in our hand, and just guaranteeing that we're casting that seems nice. Stooping Uzi plus Broker's Veteran's a bit redundant, but if I keep 3 lands in this hand and I draw more, we are not going to be doing well. So we're already down 2 cards to start off. Yeah. Get rid of the island here so we have double black for Night Clubber still, and we can still cast these 2 even if we get stuck on 2 mana. I should have ordered it differently, but I doubt we're going to go through our entire deck game 1 here. It's probably going to end before that. Opponent starts with a Jetmir's Garden into Plains. At least we are not getting pressured that much early on here. I actually think I like playing Broker's Veteran first over the Snooping Newsy, because I am going to play another creature the next turn, so we're going to be happier to have Broker's Veteran in combat than we would Snooping Newsy, because we'll be happy to trade it off and get a shield counter. Green, white, red, and blue from our opponent. Probably just green, white, blue. And they're running Jetmir's Garden as a green, white fixer. Inspiring Overseer, very nice card. The highest win rate common in the set. But Nightclubber is pretty spicy against that. Would I rather have a 2/2 on the board permanently or just draw a card here? We would draw a card and put a 3-drop in our grave, which is relevant for the Newsy. 2/2 bodies aren't going to be too relevant later in the game. We know our opponent's going to be casting 4/4s and stuff. I actually think I want to blitz this and just draw another card here. Get closer to our 5th land to maybe play Girdergoons as a permanent 4/4 instead of just a blitzed one. And there is the 5th land there. We know we can put a land in grave with Waterfront District even if we don't mill one on the Snooping Newsy. 4 mana from our opponent. They are white, blue, red, and green because that is a mountain. So they are 4 color here. We know they're green because of the Spars Adjudicators. Brazen Upstart. That is not good for us. We can go Snooping Newsy here and hold up a Fake Your Own Death. Trade our Fake Your Own Death for the Upstart and get a shield counter on the Newsy. Doesn't seem bad at all to me. They do not want to take that trade. We've got a 3, a 2, and a 6 in grave. No land in our grave yet. So we only need a land and a 1-drop, or a 4-drop, or a 5-drop to get our lifelink going on. Not that our lifelink's going to matter too much, because again, our opponent is going to have a 4/4 out pretty soon. Sticky Fingers. Well, Brazen Upstart is now a monstrous threat here. That is a 4/2 Vigilance Menace. So we can't block it, and it's going to give them a treasure token every time it hits us. In a 4-color deck like our opponent's running, those treasure tokens are going to be quite valuable. Especially because it does seem like they are still on 4 lands here. Riveteer's Initiate is the play. 2/2 that can get Death Touch till end of turn. Go to our turn. We can cast our Girdergoons now. If I blitz it, I'm getting very close to Newsy. Could just attack both here, holding up Fake Your Own Death. If they trade with both, that's not ideal, but then we just drop Girdergoons post-combat. It's not the end of the world. They're going to trade with just the Newsy. Let's fake its death then, rather than Girdergoons here. See what we get off the mill. Might be a lifelinker now. It is not. And if I exile this lackey, I no longer have a 1-drop in grave. Somehow still no land in grave. We're unfortunately milling all of our lands, or all of our non-lands, so that we'll end up drawing all of our lands. That is very much not ideal. I think we do make the fish here. Our opponent's at 13. Not really on that Snooping Newsy game plan. If we can get an unblockable creature down to pressure our opponent's life total. There's the 5th mana from our opponent. Spars Adjudicators is going to come right on down. Or whatever they need off these treasure tokens. That's 7 mana. Freelance Muscle is the play. Just a big rhino. We've got a Deal Gone Bad here. That will be our 4 mana card. So actually, we're right back on the Newsy train. Newsy will be a lifelinker here. But Freelance Muscle is going to be an 8-8 if I don't kill Brazen Upstart before I attack in, and even if I do, it's still going to be a 4-4. We can't attack into a 4-4. So we're just sending in the fish and passing turn, maybe? I think we are. Opponent's stuff is too big. I need to draw into like a murder here. I think I'm holding on to Deal Gone Bad just to get rid of that upstart, rather than casting the goons again. Spar's Adjudicators is coming on down. Something's going to be unable to attack or block this turn. It'll be the Broker's Veteran. Freelance Muscle's going to attack me as an 8-8 here, even if I kill Upstart now. And Deal Gone Bad only does -3/-3, so... yeah, that's real rough. We hit a land now, so we at least get to gain some life off this block. Instead of taking 8, we'll gain 3. They're drawn into Lagrella. Wow. Opponent's deck is pretty good. Aspiring Overseer and Lagrella, and Adjudicators are pretty sweet. So it looks like we're definitely dying to some big creatures here. We're definitely going to put Disdainful Stroke in from the sideboard. I'm not that disappointed with how this game has gone. We were on the Mole to 5 here. And it's not over. We've got Girder Goons to just blitz in and try to get lethal on our opponent. If we get real lucky. We can play these to block with. But if I play these to block, then, like, they're still just chumping, because they just attack us with an 8-8 every turn. Yeah, we're going for Broker's Veteran for the chump block, so they Lagrella our Broker's Veteran, hit us for 12, put us to 3 life. 3 life is not 0, so I think we just attack as hard as we can here. Opponent's down to 7. Let's get a 2/2 into play tapped and draw a card. Cabaret Charm. Okay. Don't know why they did that, because they could just Lagrella our blocker. Maybe they want to Lagrella our fish. Seems like maybe just a waste of removal spell, but I don't know. Wait, no, yeah, they could have just had lethal. Oh no, they don't have the mana to get lethal. If they had green, white, blue, and green, white, red, they'd have lethal this turn. If they play Lagrella, exile that, and then just buff their whole field with Cabaret Charm. Woody Roastmaster into Lagrella. Yep. Roastmaster into Lagrella it is. Exile the fish. We draw a Run Out of Town. Eight mana here is not enough to cast Girder Goons and Run Out of Town. It is enough to blitz Girder Goons and cast Run Out of Town, but that's not enough to survive. Even if we could cast both, it's not enough to survive. Because then we'd have 2 blockers and 1 removal spell. which will deal with 3 out of their 4 creatures. All of them would deal lethal to us. So we blitz, Girder Goons down. Yeah. Just hit as hard as we can. But that is dead on board. It looks like Cabaretti splashing Lagrella is probably what we're up against here. So what do we want in this match? We definitely want Disdainful Stroke. Witness Protection is actually is good in this matchup because they're all like 4/4s. Or bigger. I think that's pretty much it. Game did go on long enough. We would have had time to case the joint, I think. Guess we would have spent a turn not affecting the board, but we kind of already did. Maybe case the joints. We definitely don't want demons, do we? Don't want to be losing life when we're casting our draw spells, even though the Scry 2 is quite nice. Might want security bypass. I mean, security bypass on a lifelinker could actually be the plan here. If we get our Newsies active. What is bad in this matchup? Faker on Death's not great. Dig up the body doesn't seem necessary. Also seems pretty slow. Deal Gone Bad doesn't kill a lot of stuff, but it still kills Lagrella, kills her 4/2. Probably kills enough to be played here. Crooked Custodian definitely not what we want. Even though we are going to be on the play here. Small comes and play tapped creature. Cut these 2. The goons seem fine if we can make it to that 5 mana and just play them untapped to deal with their mountain of 4/4s. Sewer Crocodile also seems fine for similar reasons. Majestic Metamorphosis might not actually be the best trick ever. Because it is just going to make our thing a 4/4 when it fights with a 4/4. So we cut 1 Metamorphosis or 1 little chat. Or the 17 card special. I'm going to cut 1 little chat, I think. See how things go as we head into game 2. Not an ideal start to this match with the multi-5. On the draw, hopefully pretty nice hand on the play. Yep, this is a solid hand on the play. A little high on that mana count, but what are you going to do? We've got both colors in a turn 1 and turn 3 play. Waterfront District on 2, so we can cycle that out later. Jetmir's Garden is the turn 1 play from our opponent. Send in our lackey. Ominous Parcel. And a 6-drop creature is the draw. I really don't want to Night Clubber without killing anything with it. At the same time, I feel like I kind of should be curving out here, where I play Night Clubber, then I play Girder Goons next turn. We're going to play Night Clubber here, and then Fake Your Own Death is our way to Night Clubber again if we need to. If we get lucky with how they choose to block. We're probably going to blitz the goons out here, because then we deal 4 and get a 2/2 out and draw a card instead of doing nothing on turn 4. Sure, we could get a permanent 4/4 on turn 5. Oh, how many Overseers do they have? Let's definitely attack all. We're just going to take it, go to 12. Get our 2/2 and draw a card. There's our 5th land. We're almost to Crocodile mana. Crocodile will be our way to close out the game, giving it unblockability. We only have to hit them 3 more times right now with Crocodile. And that's if we do 0 damage with the rest of our creatures here. Six cards in hand and 4 mana on the board for our opponent, all 4 of their colors as well. They can't afford a Cabaretti spell though, because their green source and red source are the same land. They can afford a Sticky Fingers, so they're going to get in, get a treasure token. And they're going to cast a Rumor Gatherer. Nightclubber looking real spicy if they try to kill it here. I don't think they would. If they try to kill our token, we can just Majestic Metamorphosis here. We don't have the mana for Sewer Crocodile yet, so the turn is probably Majestic Metamorphosis and Snooping Newsy is what we're doing with our mana. No blocks. 2, 4, 5. Hit for 8 if we use Majestic Metamorphosis. Hit for 10 if we use that and Fake Your Own Death. I would like to draw a card here. I think I am going to Metamorphosis for extra damage. And then there's the Crocodile mana for next turn. So now 1 hit from Crocodile kills them if they don't gain life. And if any of our 2 power creatures get through, a Fake Your Own Death adds 2 more power and finds lethal. If they Wrath the board here, we can still get a fish out of the lackey, but we're just going to follow up with a Sewer Crocodile for the 1-shot lethal. Cabaretti Charm is going to make a couple 1/1s. So they can scry 1 and then draw a card with their Rumor Gatherer. They also have 4 blockers now for our 4 attackers. Likely going to attack all here. And then cast Sewer Crocodile post-combat. So if they let anything through, we make it lethal. And yeah, if they don't, we just play a Crocodile. Okay. I guess if they let Lackey through, then it's whatever. Yeah, they're probably gonna block Nightclubber with Overseer, block Rumor Gatherer with... or block our Rogue with Rumor Gatherer, and then double block Newsy or something here. We just deal 1 damage. But we clear their board and then drop a Crocodile. Okay, so yeah, can't find lethal here. We could put them to 1 life, but we'd rather play our Crocodile. This is going to wipe the board. Could Fake Our Own Death. No real value for that. Just be 2 mana to bring back a 2-drop, essentially. Come on, no counterspell from your Cabaretti Splashing Blue. Cool. They may have a removal spell, though, for Sewer Crocodile. They've got 4 damage on board with Ominous Parcel, but that's not enough to kill this big old Crocodile. And now Expendable Lackey is lethal if it hits them, with Fake Your Own Death for +2 power. Alright, Ominous Parcel is going to find a land for our opponent, picking up a mountain. They've got double red now, or they have green-red. Spars Adjudicators is the play. Shut off the Crocodile for a turn. That'll do it. And that will protect them for a turn. Girdergoons is the draw. That forces a block, so we get to kill something with that and draw a card and make a 2/2. Could even fake its own death and bring it back. Don't know if that's worth it when we can use Fake Your Own Death to find lethal out of nowhere. Probably is. So here we're probably killing Broker's Initiate and getting a 2/2 drawing a card. And I think I'm going to hold on to Fake Your Own Death. So we're going to have 3 creatures out after this. And if we cast Fake Your Own Death on our 2/2 or our 1/1, that pushes it up into lethal territory, and we've drawn under Girdergoons anyway. Plus, now we get to hold up Fake Your Own Death in case they have a destroy removal spell on the Crocodile. So there's a lot of really good things Fake Your Own Death can do here that are probably, well, that are better than just getting back Girdergoons. They'll just only happen in specific scenarios, whereas we would definitely get back Girdergoons if we went for the Fake Your Own Death that turn. So the question is really a guaranteed return of a Girdergoons, or the potential safety of our Crocodile and the potential finding of lethal. Alright, they're trying to get me to block here to kill a Crocodile. I'll say no thanks. Or they have a Wrath effect and they're just getting their damage in. Alright. Blitz in a Girdergoons. And they're going to scoop them up. Alright. Let's say just make it extra likely we find lethal here. Well, we win our 1 game on the play, which is nice. Being on the play is always a pretty large advantage in modern limited formats, because you get to tempo your spells out and get your board state set up before your opponent, kind of get in under them and be aggressive like we were there. So really nice to win our game on the play, at least. What do we do here on the draw against this deck? I think, again, we probably have already sideboarded as well as we can. If we're going to be on the draw, we really want that Disdainful Stroke. Security Bypass does feel solid. If we can get it on one of our lifelinking Newsies, that might be our biggest way to compete against such massive creatures like our opponent potentially has. Even Ominous Parcel might not be the worst to deal 5 or deal 4 to a creature for 5 mana. That could be a possibility here. That's about the only thing on our sideboard that I might consider putting in, I think, at this point. But I definitely think Witness Protection is fine in this matchup. Our opponent's deck is just a stack of 4/4s. I think I'm going to run it back like this. I think I like all the changes we made. Just keep them how they are. See how we do in Game 3 of Round 1. Mono black hand here is very unfortunate. Opponent is going first. We have 9 blue sources in the deck. About 1 out of every 5, above 1 out of 5 are blue sources. Don't need the blue source till turn 3. Even then, we're not doing too much in the early game. I'm going to mulligan here. Alright, this is way better. Alright, opponent's on a 6-card hand, and we are going to be on a 6-card hand as well. I think we get rid of Fake Your Own Death, maybe? Maybe even Security Bypass, actually. Probably Security Bypass, unfortunately. Well, No, I'm going to get rid of Fake Your Own Death here. Opponent starts with a forest. Let's start with Spendable Lackey. Got a Disdainful Stroke up, that's nice. Turn 2, we're going to get our Broker's Veteran down. Turn 3, we're probably holding up Disdainful Stroke, and we'll Security Bypass later when we actually need unblockability, which is probably not turn 3 against their deck. We'll find out. They might play a juicy 3-drop. Nope, just a Jetmir's Fixer. Yeah, I don't think we need Security Bypass here. We can just send a Broker's Veteran in and hold up a Disdainful Stroke. Could still be worth playing just to get Conniving here. But I quite like Disdainful Stroke in this matchup. You know, that's true. If I don't hit a 4th mana next turn, I'm going to have a real hard time justifying holding up Disdainful Stroke again. So, I mean, if we top deck a 4th land, then it'll be wonderful. Okay, I was going to say, then I can just live the Security Bypass plus Disdainful Stroke dream here. Except the problem now is we need to be blocking, because now they have a Witty Roastmaster to be hitting us with. Try to outrace them with double Majestic Metamorphosis and the Security Bypass. Do we even just Security Bypass our Lackey? How fast do we kill them there? At 17. We're going to draw a card, discard a card off of the Bypass. We do not kill them very fast at all. We're probably just holding off here, actually, and just hold up our blockers, hold up our Metamorphoses here. Can double block Fixer. I guess they get to kill both our creatures if we do that. So we'll have to double block Fixer and Metamorphosis Veteran. Probably should have Metamorphosis pre-combat. Just +2, that's going to be 4 power. They get a Citizen. Okay. So they deal damage to us, that's a 4/4. Make our Veteran a 4/4. Those two will trade, and we'll get a shield counter on our Lackey. Awkward place to have a shield counter, but still get to kill the card now, which is nice. Alright, there's their 4th mana. I guess we Security Bypass our shielded up Lackey. Got 5 mana now. Won't have the mana for Majestic Metamorphosis on blocks again. If I bypass right now, I could just play a Lackey and hold up Metamorphosis or Stroke. I think I'm waiting another turn on this Security Bypass. I think I am playing this land because we're still considering Majestic Metamorphoses, drawing more cards. Broker's Veteran's essentially a 5/5, and unfortunately it's a 1 mana 5/5, so we can't counter it with Disdainful Stroke. Alright, pass the turn. It is from our opponent. There's a Girder Goons. If our opponent had a good 5-drop, they would have just cast it right there. I'm going to hard cast a Girder Goons so we can double block Broker's Initiates. Setting up the blockers we need here for their onboard threats. They're going to use a trick to win this combat. That's fine, because both of these creatures do something good when they die here. So even if they win this combat with a trick, still end up pretty even. Okay. Combat will take place, and our opponent's tapped out now. So now we have a 2-2 even to block that Woody Roastmaster, so now is when we get to start focusing on our win con, which is gonna be security bypass on this lackey, so we just have a shielded up unblockable creature. Keep sending in. We get to hold up a Disdainful Stroke here. And we get to keep drawing cards. Snooping Newsy is the draw. Discard Metamorphosis, play an island and Newsy and hold up Stroke. Unfortunately, Newsy is not the one with the unblockability here, because it is likely to be a lifelinker. Yep, it is a lifelinker. It does look suspicious that we're holding up 2 mana instead of making our fish here, so our opponent can probably figure out that we have Disdainful Stroke, but even if they know we have Stroke, until they draw 2 cards that cost 4 or more, they can't really play around it. And the weaker card out of 2 cards that cost more than 4 mana is probably not that much weaker than the other one, so we're still just going to Disdainful Stroke the first thing they do, most likely. But yeah, opponent can definitely do the math here and figure out we're just holding up Disdainful Stroke. I'm actually not going to Disdainful Stroke that, though. That's not a problem at all. That's just 1/1s against our 3/3 lifelinker. We can block those all day long. So I actually lied. I'm not Disdainful Stroking the first thing I see. Get in there, Expendable Lackey. Girder Goons is the draw. As much as I'd love to discard a non-land card, both of these non-land cards are very valuable, so I'm going to discard a land card here. Every time I discard a non-land card to that Connive, it is speeding up the unblockable kill clock, but not enough to be worth get rid of those. I think I'm going to blitz the Girder Goons in next turn. I'm a greedy man who loves drawing cards. I guess if I blitz the Girder Goons, I'm only getting to kill a 1/1 on our opponent's board. So we might try to hardcast it, but I need to wait to hardcast it until I have 7 mana up, because I want to be able to cast it and hold up Disdainful Stroke still. No thanks. That can get the Stroke. Alright, and now that the Stroke is gone, now we can just play Girder Goons whenever we want. We're not holding up 2 mana anymore. Echo Inspector is our draw. Actually, for being flying, that's probably better than Girder Goons here. We go for it. Keep going for unblockability. Get greedy here, make it a 3/4 flyer. I think I actually do. And then Expendable Lackey's only unblockable if it attacks alone. So it's better to attack with just Lackey than attack with Lackey and the fish here. Most likely. But next turn, we're probably getting to the point where we're attacking all. Another Snooping Newsy. Better than a 3rd counter on Lackey? Yes, because we're going to be attacking with everybody next turn anyway. Yeah, we're just going to start sending in the whole board. Okay, there's a land for us. I'm going to hold it in hand so I can connive it away with the Lackey if I want. Although I could just use Waterfront District first, since I'm not going to have anything to use mana on anyway. Okay, alright, we don't need to hold that land then. We'll drop it down here. 15 life. Still, I have 2 lifelinkers attacking. Let's not worry about life total. Let's just jam. And say I have 15 life. I'm still kind of scared of a counterattack. And then I was like, wait, I have 6 power of lifelink going on here. I'm at basically 21 after this combat. Knockout blow on Echo Inspector. Kills our flyer and gains our opponent some life. Would love it if Expendable Lackey hits our opponent, but it's probably getting blocked by a single 1/1. Because that will bounce our shield counter off of it and prevent our connive. So I feel like their best blocks are probably Roastmaster on a lifelinker and then just a 1/1 on our lackey. They want to actually kill a creature here though, so they're going to double block the 2/2. That is a very reasonable block as well. We will get to connive here, get a witness protection. That's actually very close to a +1/+1 counter on Lackey just being better, but play it safe here. We've seen how many 4/4s our opponent's deck has. We'll hold on to this witness protection. If they just tap out for a big creature, we make it a 1/1, that'll be nice. And then I'll have to take back everything bad I ever said about witness protection if we win a game with it in the Arena Open. Game isn't over though. Our opponent's deck's definitely a lot more explosive than ours. So even though we've been in the lead pretty much all game, our opponent has a lot more cards in their deck that can change that out of nowhere than ours does, even just via their commons and uncommons. Just big dorks. And we haven't even seen what kind of bombs they could be splashing in a green, white, red, and blue deck here. So get a couple citizen tokens from Cabaretti Charm. It's going to be a double block on Lackey. Oh no, a single block because the shield token. Prevent our connive here. And they're down to 5 life now. And we just pass turn, hold on to both of these for connive options. It is a very stormy morning today, so my apologies if you can hear all that. Another attack all here. They're at 5 life, they block the Newsy and take 3. Or they block the Lackey and take 4 to prevent my connive again. Kill shot on the Newsy. They're going to take it all, let me connive here. Wingshield Agent's a beautiful draw. Oops. Discard this land and cast the Wingshield Agent, holding on to this witness protection. Exhibition Magician from our opponent, but we can attack with Expendable Lackey alone and it will be unblockable. Plus we can attack with Wingshield Agent and throw it in the sky, so that we're attacking with 3 power. No, Lagrella's going to come down here. That will prevent lethal if they shoot the Lackey with it. Yeah, we just hit for 1 now. Can make Lagrella a 1/1 here, so we get to attack with Wingshield Agent. All they can do is trump. They can't double block to kill it, but it already has a shield counter, so there's no... Well, there is a reason to do that, and that is that right now they could just block with Lagrella and pop off my shield. So now at least... they can't just bounce my shield counter off without losing a creature. And I don't actually know if Lagrella gets to bring the cards back if I made her a citizen. I guess we'll find out for science. Yep, the cards will still come back. Okay. That would have been a really good play if the cards don't come back anymore also. Because then they don't get their Magician for more blockers here. But Expendable Lackey coming back is pretty good for us because we can send this in and turn it into another fish even if they kill our remaining fish. And Wingshield Agent can send it into the sky. So there's the concession from our opponent. They did not find a way out of that one, and we're going to start off the Arena Open Day 2 with a win in Round 1. Here we are now in Round 2 of the Arena Open Day 2. I will play first here, and I will definitely keep this hand. Turn 2, Crooked Custodian on the play. is a spicy start. No 3-drop creature to follow it up with, but we'll see how things go here. Do have a great 4-drop Echo Inspector or Girder Goons if we want to really bash in. Opponent starts with a Botanical Plaza tapped. We've drawn into a 3-drop Wing Shield Agent to play turn 3, which is wonderful. Fingers crossed, no 2-mana creature from our opponent, so Crooked Custodian can just go to town, and there is no 2-mana creature from opponent. Hopefully no cheap removal here. Custodian gets at least 3 damage in, and here's the Wing Shield Agent alongside it to fling it into the sky for some more damage. Do need to draw another land to hit all these 4 drops, which could be an issue. We can blitz in a Girder Goons to get wildly aggressive or just play an Echo Inspector here. I think I like Echo Inspector. We've got a card in hand that's going to be an easy discard, this Dig Up the Body here, so I think that'll be the play. Opponent could easily be holding up a counterspell here, but we'll go to combat first, see if they go for a kill shot instead. Warm Welcome is the play. They're going to get a 1/1 citizen onto the board to get rid of Wing Shield Agent's shield counter. Could spend all of my mana to kill this 1/1, but that doesn't seem worth it to me. We can do that next turn. We can run out of town on their flyer. So hit them for 3. They're down to 14. Echo Inspector time. Draw a card, discard a card. Drawing a land here, which is the 5th mana for Girder Goons. I could discard it if I really want, but I think I would rather get a counter on Echo Inspector discard than Dig Up the Body. Again, lean into the aggressive start that we've got this game. Echo Inspector is the play. And they are the full-on Brokers deck here for sure. Blue, white, and green. Discard a Civil Servant because they just drew it too late here. Probably run out of town on the Inspector. We hit for 6, 7, 8 if we do that, and then they just spend next turn playing it again, and a Girder Goons Blitz should be lethal. Seems good to me. And this is where that run out of town is a very powerful tempo play like we were talking about when we picked it up, where if you're in the lead like this card often will just push your opponent out of the game. We'll find out soon enough. They chose to put the put that Echo Inspector on bottom of their library, so they have a better play for turn 5. So that is definitely scary. So currently they're dead on board. I can't think of an instant speed Wrath. There's no Settle the Wreckage in this format, so let's blitz a Girder Goons to play around like 2 instant speed removal spells or something, so we still have lethal, and then attack all, hope for the best. We'll figure out what they've got here soon enough. Nothing. Okay, that is going to be lethal. That's going to be 1-0 to start off round 2. Now we're going to make some adjustments to our deck because we're definitely going to be on the draw, so Crooked Custodian is going to be bad. Witness Protection, I mean, we really did not see a lot of their deck here. Witness Protection looks pretty bad against them. Citizen's a good creature type for them with Civil Servant in the deck, and making +1/+1 counters is another thing they can do. They also have just 1/1s already. We saw very little. We saw Civil Servant, we saw that they're Brokers, and we saw Warm Welcome. So I don't even know if Disdainful Stroke's good here. I mean, we saw Echo Inspector. Stroke's good against Echo Inspector. Security Bypass, I'm not sure about either. When it was solid creatures on the ground. Oh, the Security Bypass did play really well in that other round, so we could just try it out here. See how it works. So kind of just take out Crooked Custodian and maybe Dig Up the Body. Just looking pretty slow there. A little chat. Go to the Dig Up the Body. Go for this as the deck here. I don't know, we'll find out. We did not see a lot for sideboarding. Alright. I think I'm going to have to keep this one. Again, a lot of lands for an opener. We know we have a Lackey turn 1. We have a Disdainful Stroke for the late game plays, and we have both colors. Definitely have to draw some gas here, but we're going to try it out here. Opponent on the mulligan to 6, starts with a forest, passes the turn, we'll drop our expendable lackey. I'm not unhappy to see a waterfront district here. If I'm going to see a land, I would much rather it be waterfront district than anything else. Turn 2, they go for a courier's briefcase, get that 1/1 citizen, and they have a treasure token down now. I am very unhappy to see an island here. That is 2 land draws in a row, and that one is not going to cycle. I'm pretty cool to trade my lackey for a citizen here. They could play a 4-drop here if they crack the briefcase immediately. So I guess I could play an untapped land, so I have Disdainful Stroke up. I'm not going to run out of untapped lands, so I might as well just play Waterfront District next turn if I don't have a 3-drop. There's the 3rd mana from our opponent. It comes in tapped. There's a Girder Goons for us. I guess we're just trading blows for now. Just gonna keep hitting each other for 1 a turn. Looks like. There's their 4th mana. Speakeasy Server is the play. That's not that strong, but it's important enough on this board. I think I'm gonna Disdainful Stroke it, especially since they had to crack the treasure for it. They're not likely to follow it up with something that much stronger. And I think in the interest of playing quickly here, I do want to blitz Girder Goons, get a 2/2 draw a card, deal 4, rather than just hit for 1 this turn and then play a 4/4 next turn. Fake Your Own Death is the draw. Definitely looking for more creatures, but these are not bad cards to have. Opponent is down to 13 now thanks to that Girder Goons, and we're up at 18. So they are not even going to attack here. Broker's Veteran is the draw, exactly what I was looking for, just another creature. Not the scariest creature in the world, but it's a creature, so I'm down for it. If they want to trade their 1/1 into my lackey, that is a very fine trade, because we'll just get a fish. And we'll hit them for 2 here. I think we go Broker's Veteran and a fish. We can run out of town during our main phase if they dump all their mana into a creature here. If they dump all their mana into a 4/4, we can just attack into it. Depopulate is the play. Well, now we know what to play around, but that probably just kills us here because we're out of creatures, out of stuff to do. That's brutal, and we're hitting more lands here. Well, when we know about it and we can play around it, it's not going to be nearly as big of a problem next game if we lose this one to depopulate. Another Girder Goons. Just gonna swing in here, get a 2/2 draw a card, rather than again waiting another turn. Even a 2/2 is very threatening because they're gonna be down to 7, and we've got Security Bypass, Fake Your Own Death, lots of spooky stuff. Echo Inspector is the play. Probably run that out of town. Although I suppose I could just Security Bypass instead. Depends on what we draw here. Hopefully another cheap creature, or just creature in general. Fake Your Own Death is definitely not the option here. Murder is the draw. I think I would rather run that out of town and hold up Murder, now that I have the mana to do both. Although it's probably better to actually Murder and then hold up the run out of town, because that has a good enter the battlefield effect if they redraw it. And I could play Security Bypass here, but I'm just going to discard a land. I'm not going to get any extra damage out of Security Bypass. Celestial Regulator. No creature with a counter on it, so they will not keep my 2/2 tapped down. Then the end step, we run that out of town, so we have all the mana we need. If we top deck a Girder Goons, we win on the spot. They do put it back on top here. We did not top deck a Girder Goons. But now we can play Security Bypass, because if they had a way to kill this 2/2, they probably would have just done it by now. So now we can get the card draw out of it. And then it'll be unblockable through that Regulator next turn to find lethal next turn with Fake Your Own Death. Nope, they have the way to kill the 2/2, and Fake Your Own Death does not save a token. Brutal. Didn't have much of a choice there. I mean, if we don't Security Bypass there, then we're just sitting here with a ton of lands in hand and not trying to draw and discard them, so I don't think that was the wrong play there. I think we just got. Wow, this is not looking great. Opponent is down to 5. But that 3-for-1 depopulate is catching up to us. Cycling Rafine's Tower. Rafine's Silencer. That's certainly a card. Discard Fake Your Own Death to make it a 2/2, or discard our like 50th land. I'm going to discard the land, I think. I should have kept a land in hand in case they use removal on Silencer here. I could respond by Fake Your Own Deathing and drawing and discarding again, but they just have a big old 4/4 to play instead. Pretty good bread and butter broker stuff here. Yikes. Well, we kill Adjudicators with Fake Your Own Death, and we draw a card, discard this land. They have a trick here, too. Sack the Plaza, draw a card. I guess we can kill the flyer, but I think it's more important to kill the bigger creature. Girder Goons? Do you have a response to Girder Goons, opponent? They have blue mana up. They have something at instant speed. I don't think they're dead here. It seems like they have an instant. Oh my god! Oh, well that Girder Goons makes up for that land clump we hit at the end. 2-0 in that round. Was not expecting that outcome. I thought for sure that game was over in our opponent's favor. They still had a few more cards in hand. The depopulate was super rough for us, but 2-0 it'll be. That Girder Goons off the top. Never underestimate the power of Girder Goons, my boy. So 2-0. No matter what happens here, we get an average 2-2 run out of this, but hopefully we can get at least 1 or 2 more wins and get our get some extra gems back out of this one. So yeah, I'm very happy with how this deck has performed so far. Real average looking deck here, but we're 2-0 to start off. Here we are now in round 3. We're going to be on the play this time. I definitely need to hit a black source for the Newsy, but a little chat can dig for it. I'm going to go ahead and keep the sand here. Definitely relying on a little chat to get us the action we need, but if we hit a swamp as well, we can just play a Newsy turn 2. Hit a 6-drop and a 0-drop, so we only need 3 more mana costs in grave and a little chat. Again, I'm just going to keep saying a little chat this game. But a little chat will help fill that graveyard, as well as draw us some action. We don't have any other 1-drops to play, so I'm going to actually play Lackey and probably casualty a little chat at the end of our opponent's next turn. That'll put a 1-drop in grave, so we'll have a 6, a 0, a 1, a 2. We only need 1 more card type for Newsy to be a 3/3 lifelinker next turn. That could be massive. Opponent is on double black here on turn 3. They are black-blue as well, it looks like. Night Clubber is going to be the play. We're definitely sacking this expendable Lackey in response, so that the Night Clubber gets no value. Let's take a Girder Goons to hand. And let's take Murder or Lackey. We'll take Murder to hand. And Newsy should be a 3/3 lifelinker now. No, we're actually 1 mana cost off. Is 3 gonna work for us? Yes, a 3-drop would work. We have a 1, 2, and a 6. Do I not have 2 lackeys in grave? Because I just sacrificed 1 to a little chat, and I milled 1 off of... Oh, 1 in hand and 1 on the bottom. Oh, I thought it was 1 in hand and 1 in grave. That would be a lot better. Okay, I see what happens there. Okay, so if I play a 3-drop now, then my grave is full. Blitzing or Girder Goons works as well. However, the Newsy will not be lifelink this turn. I think blitzing a Girder Goons is worth it here. Just no attack with Newsy this turn, just hit for 4 with Goons instead, and then Newsy will be a 3/3 when we pass the turn. And we get another Girder Goons off the top, that's pretty beautiful. 4 mana from our opponent here. Shakedown Heavy is the play. That can stay on board, and I will not tap that, I will murder that. Okay. Oh, I guess it taps when it declares the attack. Okay, so now we're on Murder on the Shakedown Heavy. They have a 2/2 and a 1/1. They could trade both into our Newsy if we attack in with it. I'm not a big fan of that. Majestic Morphosis makes Newsy a 5/5 flyer with lifelink. Could go for that instead. Could blitz in another Goons here. Do we have a 3 in grave yet? We don't have a 3 in grave yet, so if I actually use Metamorphosis, I can use Metamorphosis and get a fish here. I'm actually a pretty big fan of doing that instead. And that's going to race really well because of that huge life gain swing. And yeah, because we have a 3-drop in grave, we can get rid of our 1-drop in grave and get a fish. Now we're just going for a bunch of unblockable damage here. We just let Shakedown Heavy do its thing. We've got plenty of life gain here. We're at 25 life. We can just take the hit. We still have the Murder as a backup if we need to kill it later. Rooftop Nuisance with a sacrificed lackey is very good. Taps down 2 of our creatures and keeps them tapped for a turn and draws them 2 cards. Just take the hit here. And they're going to get a fish of their own. Deal Gone Bad is our draw. So 6 mana. Cast a Murder and a Metamorphosis, or just blitz a Girdergoons, or hard cast a Girdergoons, or cast a Deal Gone Bad. And we're definitely hitting with this fish. I think we're holding on to Metamorphosis to try to find lethal next turn. I could go for a Girdergoon swing here, kill a fish, get a 2/2 draw card, is most likely what happens there. If I wait to Girdergoons till next turn, I can Girdergoons and Majestic Metamorphosis in one turn to really kind of get towards lethal. So we're just on Murder or Deal Gone Bad here, so we're probably on Murder on Shakedown Heavy. But we wait till we see how they attack. Try to deal with as many of their potential blockers as possible to make it more likely that we find lethal. Attack with that Shakedown Heavy, we'll take that damage. Kill some blockers here, I suppose. 7 mana, they're going to cast Obscure Initiate, which can get life gain. We're going to Deal Gone Bad on Initiates as the removal spell here to counteract any life gain our opponent could have. They have 3 mana up here. They could have their own Murder. That would ruin a Metamorphosis for us. They might be tapping out here. If they tap out, be pretty happy. Even if they do tap out to counter the Deal Gone Bad. Because that just makes it so we don't have to play around anything when we go for the kill here. So we're on Girdergoons getting blitzed out, holding up the mana for Murder. Because then we attack all. They block our 4/4 and our 3/3. Take 1, 2, 3. I guess we don't lethal them. We put them close enough to where they have to lose everything except Shakedown Heavy on blocks here, most likely. Could play the long game a bit here, play an Echo Inspector and still just Murder Shakedown Heavy. I think I'm on the Blitz game here. Because it could just kill them out of nowhere. We're gaining 3 life here no matter what happens. It is Murder, so we are no longer gaining the 3 life. But we know everything that they're casting here, so we know Metamorphosis resolves. Metamorphosis doesn't find lethal though, so that's fine. We just resolve that, and then whatever happens here happens. Okay, so we're killing the fish, we're killing the Night Clubber. I could win the fight against the Night Clubber, or I can Murder the Shakedown Heavy. We'd rather Murder the Shakedown Heavy. Their board is gone. We still have a 1/1 fish and a 2/2. Okay, and we draw a card again. Fake Your Own Death is the draw. That's a very nice draw. Maestro's Theater from our opponent will gain them a life. Pick up a island, swamp, or mountain. Picks up a swamp, so the full-on mirror match, just blue-black here, no red splash. They're gonna cast another... They're gonna cast another Shakedown Heavy, I suppose. Yeah. That's a thing. We have exact lethal if we Metamorphosis the fish and they don't block the 2/2. And they have no counters in hand. So let's see. I guess we attack in. Whether or not they block the 2/2, we're going to Fake Your Own Death on it. Yeah, just kill this Shakedown Heavy. We'll lose the 2/2, but it's worth it. Probably better to Metamorphosis it. Metamorphosis does threaten more damage as a combat trick out of nowhere on an unblocked creature, but it draws us a card when we cast it. We Metamorphosis the 2/2. Then we Echo Inspector here. They're gonna fake the Shakedown Heavy's death, alright. Sure, that'll work. Get our Echo Inspector down. Draw a card, discard a card. Another land. We'll keep the Fake Your Own Death, I think. Much as I would love to have Echo Inspector be a 3/4 flyer, I'm going to keep this Fake Your Own Death. We're going to have to start letting our opponent draw some cards eventually here. Do we have to do it right now? We're going down to 5 life if I let the heavy hit us. I think we go down to 5. Need a big trick to kill us there. Don't want to give our opponent more outs. Double Shakedown Heavy, some serious beef. Now dig up the body to bring whatever they want from grave back. This is looking pretty problematic. Night Clubber to kill our fish. Yeah, that's pretty disgusting. Rafine Silencer is a real card here. Draw a card, discard a card. My god. We are flooding pretty hard. We have to just let Shakedown Heavy draw them a card here and keep hitting with Echo Inspector to try to find lethal. I'm gonna hold on to this and connive off this Fake Your Own Death, maybe. Fake Your Own Death is an additional 2 damage out of nowhere. Do I take this trade on board, or do I Fake Your Own Death this trade to connive, or do I not block at all? I definitely block. If I Fake Your Own Death, I get to connive again, but then I don't have a Fake Your Own Death in hand, but then I do still have a Rafine Silencer on board. I think I have to Fake Your Own Death, even though it speeds up my potential kill by 1 turn with that Echo Inspector. Deal gone bad? Well, no longer a trade. Pretty good. Oh boy. Let's see what we draw here. Yikes. Not dead yet. But we're dead to any blitz. Down to 3. Opponent's down to 3 as well. They've got the flying blocker. Just gonna main phase it. So they draw another card here when they Rooftop Nuisance. Yeah. Bummer. Snooping Newsy on blocks is actually pretty big. We died a removal here. Got 1 land left in our 7 cards now. So if we make it another turn, we're pretty likely to hit gas of some kind. Don't know if we have much that can find a way through all this, though. Opponent is in the think tank. Yeah, I don't know what they're in the tank so hard about. I don't think there's anything we can draw into that wins. Run out of town just puts them to 1, and then they recast Vandal. I guess Vandal's only a chump blocker is the problem for them. And if their hand's all lands, they don't really have attacks anymore. We just make them keep drawing cards and Maybe they just need to draw like a single removal spell to kind of get us. Opponent DC's there. I have got to assume that's a technical issue, DC. Oh my god, we win the round? Not like that. Oh no. Well, I mean, I'll take it, but that really sucks for our opponent. There's no way they conceded the match there on purpose. There's no possible way. But, I mean, really sucks from their perspective, but from our perspective, now we are in the gyms. We get gyms out of this event no matter what, which is pretty nice. I don't think that matchup was super good for us either. I think their deck was pretty much ours, but a little better. It's like our deck, except they have some bombs, they have some shakedown heavies. So I mean, I'll take the freebie there, but that is a huge bummer for our opponent, and I really hope they get some reimbursement if it was an arena technical issue. If their internet just died in a storm, that would be super sad too. It has been pretty stormy this morning for myself as well, but there we go. That'll be 3-0, I guess, as we start off this event, no matter what, a positive win rate. Here we are in round 4 now against Black Lotus, who is on the play. We have both colors, and we have our big 4 drops. Nothing early game, but I think I'm still going to keep this one. If they're a very aggressive deck, we're super dead, but Night Clubber is a phenomenal draw to kind of get around that a little bit. Looks like another Broker's deck here. We even drew an Expendable Lackey. Didn't draw it turn 1, but we drew it early enough that it gives us a turn 2 play at least. Blue, white, green from our opponent, Disciplined Duelist. I'm incredibly happy to Night Clubber that thing to death. And not sure how much a 2/2 is going to matter later in this game, so I'm probably going to blitz it too to draw a card. Spend 3 mana, deal 2 to our opponent, kill their Disciplined Duelist, and draw a card. Seems like a pretty good deal to me. We just start blitzing in Girder Goons here. Alright, opponent's hand was maybe a little all in on that Disciplined Duelist. And now we've got our triple Girder Goons at the ready. Just keep jamming them in. Warm welcome from our opponent to trade a Citizen into our Lackey, or stop 4 damage. Either way is pretty fine by us. And pick up a Sewer Crocodile at 6 mana. We'll draw a card and get a 2/2. 4 mana from our opponent now. Echo Inspector is the play. Unfortunately, that is likely to be a 3/4 flyer, which is too big for our deal gone bad. Card looks pretty bad here. Yep, an Echo Inspector's too big for all our stuff right now. Probably just going to start hard casting Girder Goons and attacking with 4/4 for the rest of this game. Could send in this Expendable Lackey just to get it in the grave to get a fish token here, but probably better to hold it for casualty stuff. There's a Sleep with the Fishes from our opponent. Very annoying deck so far from our opponent. I think we're on another Girder Goons here. Well, opponent has officially stabilized. They've stopped all our early aggression and gotten to 6 mana, so they can cast whatever they need, like this Sewer Crocodile here. And now Sewer Crocodile is going to keep hitting us unblockably for 4. Unless they want to try to block and kill our goons, then we can deal gone bad it. But we certainly can't block it, so we'll send in our goons here. Deal gone bad is going to kill this Crocodile. How's our grave looking? We've got a 3 and a 5 already. We'll have a 4 in there as well. I don't think we need to self-mill here. I'll just mill our opponent. Kill that Crocodile. Drop a Winged Shield Agent. Inspiring Overseer from our opponent. Well, I really like our Night Clubber in this matchup, that is for sure. We do draw into a Snooping Newsy. How do they kill Girder Goons here? Double block it with a 3/4 and a 1/1, and we just kill the 3/4 flyer, and then we can start attacking with everybody else. Yep, Girder Goon still seems like a pretty good attacker here. Send it in. quick draw dagger on blocks seems good. Get our 2/2 out of it, drop our Stooping Newsy. Expendable Lackey to the grave, get our fish. And let's just go wide here, Broker's Veteran. Maybe we'll get depopulated again here. But if not, we just start attacking all with a really wide board. They're going to start hitting us for 3, for 4. Okay, they're just going to attack out. Yeah, I'm going to swing my whole board at them if they're going to have one blocker up. Workshop Warchief. That is a big old bomb rare. That's going to ruin our plans here because it's going to gain them life when it hits the board, and when it dies, they get a 4/4 out of it anyway. Now our wide attacks look really bad. Dig Up the Body is pretty good here. Yeah, we're definitely sacking Girder Goons to that, and then we're picking up our -1/-1 to their board card. We don't have any 3-power creatures here, so we can't like trick them into losing Workshop Warchief. We could have if they didn't put the dagger on it. But... Alright. So, we pick up a Nightclubber, we pick up a Girder Goons. Echo Inspector's not bad. I think Girder Goons is going to be better, though. We can send in our 3/3, and that's kind of it. Get some life gain going on. Okay. Now we Nightclubber the unblockable stuff. Again, am I going wide here, or am I drawing cards? This board state really looks like I'm going wide. I'm going to play Nightclubber and just keep it around rather than cycling it. So if we attack all now, they stop a 3, they stop a 2, they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We just attack all twice in a row, especially with a blitz here. And that is our game plan. Attack all twice in a row. I think it really matters too much what we give flying. So we're going to deal a bunch of damage here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We put them to 1. I don't even need to little chat to make this good, so sure. Run out of town. The owner of target non-land permanent puts it on top or bottom. I will happily put a Girder Goons on top of my library. We deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 instead. And now we a little chat sacrifice this rogue that's just going to die without doing anything, because the newsy's going to gain us life at least. But this rogue dies without doing anything. So we sack the rogue. One into hand. One into hand. And our Blitz boy on top. They're down to 5 against this board state. Dagger onto the Inspector, pass turn. Blitz us a Girder Goons. Attack all, Metamorphosis for lethal if this somehow doesn't kill them. Out of the way, put it back to our hand again. Okay. Pretty sure this is lethal on board still. Yep, they're going to scoop them up. 1-0, we fight our way through a Workshop Warchief there. Really nice game, just go super wide. Our opponent is going to be on the play this time, so Custodian's definitely looking worse, but Custodian just adding to that board state would have been kind of spicy. Our opponent's on a pretty good Broker's deck here. They've got a bomb like Workshop Warchief, the solid stuff like the good tempo plays and removal spells. They've got the Jewel Thief in there, the Inspiring Overseer. Don't know if I have a specific way to sideboard around this. We saw 3 really good 4 or higher cards. We saw Echo Inspector, War Chief, Out of the Way, Run Out of Town, Sleep with the Fishes, Sewer Crocodiles. We saw a lot of good large cards, so we're definitely putting Disdainful Stroke in. Probably even putting in Witness Protection. Question is what we're cutting here for them. I don't know about the Security Bypass, but that might be okay here too. Board states did get cluttered, but mainly because our board got so big. What seems not so good here? Deal Gone Bad was a bit rough, but it is good against their duelists, so I think I still want it in here. Fake Your Own Death may be a little less good than something like Disdainful Stroke or Security Bypass. I really like everything that we have in the main deck against them. Except for maybe like a Custodian here. But even Custodian's a 3-2 against their 5-3. It's just not good against their 3-4. We are on the draw this time though, so we're going for less aggressive stuff. So I think I kind of do like the just cutting 2 of these kind of trick sort of spells, like the really aggro card and the 1 trick, for more kind of longer game spells like the counter spell and the kind of removal spell. Maybe not the Security Bypass. Yeah, maybe not the Security Bypass. We'll go for that here for game 2. Opponent's on the play, we're on the draw here. Need to draw some early game cards, but got great late game stuff. We have all the mana we need. I'm going to keep this. Opponent's deck didn't seem massively aggressive. The most aggressive thing they could do is Disciplined Duelist, and this hand can beat a Disciplined Duelist with Deal Gone Bad. So we're already, even if we mulligan into a more aggressive hand, we're not going to be able to easily get in an aggressive position on the draw. So I think this is a keep. It just plays the long game well. Obscure Initiate will start the game for our opponent. Just hits in for 2. And an Echo Inspector here. Unfortunately, 1 mana off from killing that. If they discard a non-land card here. Yep. Rough. Deal Gone Bad looking super bad again. Looking like a bad deal for us. Don't think Girder Goons looks very good here. That's just blitzed in, so I think we're going to do Deal Gone Bad here, and then we're going to just hardcast Girder Goons next turn. But we are taking some hits in the sky. That's for sure. Wow, those are some terrible mills for us. 3 cards that are kind of straight gas. Hoping to just hit like expendable lackeys and stuff off the mill. So opponent might just be stuck off of white mana here, but they could also be holding up a counterspell. We don't really have a way to play around a counterspell. I guess we could try to run out of town here, but I'm pretty sure we're just supposed to slam down Girder Goons. No counterspell at least, but probably removal. Yep, out of the way, put it into our hand and draw a card. They have drawn into the white source now. Sewer Crocodiles down. It's looking bad. It's looking very bad this game. They run out of town's way too much mana to do here and play a creature at the same time. Let's play a creature, they make Crocodile unblockable. This seems like a... Seems like a long shot here. Guess we could play our own Crocodile and force them to use their mana on their Crocodile. It's better than just playing Girder Goons again. Only cast one of those two either way. They got to sleep with the fishes as well. No, this game's over. Opponent on the play with all of their tempo removal. It's not going to be a winning game for us. Play Girder-Goons, but they can just give Crocodile unblockable and kill us. They hit us for 4, even if we spend our 1 temporary removal spell on the Crocodile. No, there is no way we're coming back from that one. Well, we're going to have to hope for a great aggressive start again on the play, so I'm going to put that Custodian back in. I'm going to cut the Witness Protection here. All in on aggro this time. Yep. Hope for an aggressive start here on the play. It's our best shot in this matchup. Not that aggressive, but we do have a 2-drop on 2, a little chat to draw some cards here, both of our colors. Again, not an ideal starting hand. We've been getting a lot of these that are 4-land starters, which are kind of the roughest starting hands to get because they're like right on the cuff of like, do you mulligan or not? Because they're not like ideal. They're not bad enough to want to mulligan. Generally, our opponent's just on 2 islands so far, at least. Gonna go for a little chats in their end step here, probably. Triple island. Expendable Lackey is the play. That's going to be a pretty great blocker against the Broker's Veteran. I guess we can Night Clubber here. But we'd rather probably Night Clubber the fish. Let's have a little chat here. Pick up an Echo Inspector. Probably play Echo Inspector this turn. Could blitz in the Girder-Goons to kill the Lackey, then they spend next turn getting the fish. We Night Clubber the fish away. We are drawing a card by Girder-Goons in here. We get a 2-2 and draw a card. Get a 2-2, draw a card, kill the Lackey. Is that worth it? I think it is. Well, that's a disgusting counterspell here. They'd counter whatever we try to do this turn then. Easily. They've drawn into the white source, but no play this turn. Play the Newsy here. See what we mill. Land and a Girder-Goons. And we blitz the Night Clubber, kill this Lackey, and get a couple damage in. We don't have the double black to just cast this. If we play Newsy the same turn. Out of the way, put Broker's Veteran back into our hand. Stop some damage here. And even stuck on 2 colors here, we're kind of getting manhandled by the Broker's deck. There's that frickin' Deal Gone Bad. I'm always going to draw Deal Gone Bad against their 3-4 and never their Discipline Duelist. God, that feels so awful. I mean, we can attack in and use a Deal Gone Bad here to get rid of this Inspector, but then we're not playing anything else this turn. But it will make the Newsy a lifelinker, which is pretty big. It's probably better to just get some stuff on the board first here. Make our board wide and then go for the big Deal Gone Bad attack. Majestic Metamorphosis is the draw. I don't want to discard Broker's Veteran because I want to be able to just flood the board again. I also don't want to discard Sewer Crocodile because it's our biggest play, but I guess we don't have the mana for it yet. We can do everything else, and if we hit a 6th source, we can cry about it, I guess. probably just supposed to drop Metamorphosis, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna drop Metamorphosis. There's the green source. They've hit all 3 colors now, and that means Jewel Thief's coming down. They've got access to everything in their deck. So I'd be pretty happy to see an attack from our opponent here. All for the aggro game. Rafine Silencer trades into whatever they block with. Snooping Newsy, can we guarantee that that's going to be a 3/3 lifelinker? Yeah, because we don't have a 4-drop engrave yet. Deal Gone Bad would be the 4-drop engrave. So I think we actually do attack in Silencer and Newsy here. Should have played a land first. They have to sacrifice something to make disappear if they have a second copy here. That was not the ideal play. Disdainful Stroke. That'll get us 2, and there's nothing we can do about that one. I'll just side it in like 20 counter spells that we were not expecting. I probably should have sided out this Deal Gone Bad. It's been so terrible in this matchup. And I don't think we're making it through Workshop Warchief this time. It was a long shot the first time, and now they need to just like not have removal so that our Sewer Crocodile can actually block. We're dead. There's no way they make this attack if they don't have a way to kill the crocodile. They still have gas. They've only drawn 5 lands all game. Run out of town. That is not the worst way at all to kill the crocodile. We kind of just still have it. Although we are taking a lot of damage. Okay, I was going to say if they play an island and they don't make the fish, that's just like guaranteed. They just counterspell us out of the game. Now they have a flyer and a fish hitting us for 4 damage each turn, and we're at 8 life, so we die in 2 swings. Blitz in a strong arm. Oh, not even blitz it in, just hard cast it because now we can't block anymore. We're mega dead. Surprised we got as far as we did in that matchup. That was just... It's not like the cream of the crop Brokers deck, but the color pair is just so deep with so many high quality cards that their general card quality level is definitely better than ours. Their worst cards are like Warm Welcome, which are still solid. Our worst cards are like Broker's Veteran and... which are just Crooked Custodian, stuff like that. That's just not great. They've got a lot of just really strong stuff like Workshop Warchief, bunch of Echo Inspectors, Angelic Overseer. Not a super great matchup. Did my best there. Surprised I got that one win that we did. That was a sick one. But 3-1 now as we head into round 6. Or round 5. I always want to say it's been more rounds than it has because I'm so used to best of 1. Here we are, round 5 on the play with a completely unkeepable hand. This hand's really bad too. We have both of our colors, but we're not playing anything till turn 4, which is very bad for a hand on the play. But we have both our colors. We have a really good mana going on in this hand. These are really horrible non-creature spells though. For this opener, where you don't have the creatures to use the combat tricks with. And is almost as bad as a hand could be while still having the correct colors. Like if Girdergoons were Majestic Metamorphosis, this would be the easiest snap mulligan ever. It's so close here. We're not doing anything until turn 4, unless we get lucky on the draw. We do have like 4 2-drops in the deck we could draw into if we just Waterfront District turn 1. I'm going to keep here. I'm not going to go down to 5 cards. We're just going to have to cross our fingers and hope for the best, which is pretty much exactly what we'd have to do if we mold a 5. To get a 5-card hand that's worth playing, we're already crossing our fingers pretty hard. Playing against red-black. Terrifying matchup with how contested brokers can be quite often. Red-black being the 2 non-brokers colors can often be the most open color pair in the draft pod, and when it is, they lend themselves into incredibly aggressive Rakdos sacrifice decks that can just steamroll in the early game. And this looks like the deck our opponent's going for here. I'm going to go ahead and murder the body dropper before they start blitzing cards out and making that bigger and bigger. Snooping Newsy's going to be good in this matchup because it can potentially be a lifelinker. But I think I'm going to go for Girdergoons first to draw a card while I put a creature on the board. Also get a 5-mana card in my grave for the Newsy. Keep taking 2 a turn from this Mayhem Patrol. Corrupt Court Officials the play. Well, now we've got a land to discard, so goodbye land. And do I want to keep this land in hand to play around another Corrupt Court Official? Or do I want to play it out so I can cast Dig Up the Body if they spend a removal spell on something? I think I want to hold for Dig Up the Body here. Attack in with our 2/2, then play a Snooping Newsy, just trying to outrace this menace creature here, which I think we can do if we get Newsy to lifelink status, which theoretically we will eventually if we cast Dig Up the Body. Or if we get Lucky Mills here. Well, that's 4 out of 5. We have a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 0. We don't have a 2 in grave yet, so once we cast Fake Your Own Death, Newsy will be lifelinker. So we can consider Fake Your Own Death like a 2-mana +2/+0 lifelink trick if we want. So our opponent has a Glamorous Outlaw for turn 6. They also have a blue source now. Strangle on the Snooping Newsy. We can either Dig Up the Body or Fake Your Own Death, and either way, Newsy's probably going to be lifelink in the future. I think I'd rather Dig Up the Body. Well, we're only going to have 5 mana up next turn. 2 mana to cast Newsy, 4 mana to blitz the Girdergoons that we pick up. If I Fake Your Own Death, I get a treasure token here and definitely have a life gainer, lifelinker. Yeah, a lifelinker here is so huge. Let's just make sure we have a lifelinker on the board right now, rather than in our hand to have to cast next turn, so we can attack with it next turn. Oh, and we milled an Expendable Lackey, which is nice. So they hit us for 3, but then we gain that 3 right back when we go to our combat, thanks to our lifelink. And Run Out of Town's a good draw here. We can Expendable Lackey and still hold up Run Out of Town or Dig Up the Body. This feels like a great race for us. This is where Snooping Newsy's really going to pop off. 3/3 lifelink are just huge in the Rakdos matchup. Cast Glamorous Outlaw. They don't gain life from that, right? They just deal 2 to us? Yeah, they just deal 2 to us and scry 2. We're going to let them do that, but then we're going to run that out of town, most likely. To crack back into them again. They're not going to have good blocks for Newsy, even if they don't attack at all this turn. Alright, so this Run Out of Town is going to be really nice. They actually don't even have a natural blue source out, so they have to put it on bottom because they would have to spend 2 to convert one of their lands into a blue source. So they'd have to wait 2 turns before they get to recast it. Another Snooping Newsy is a beautiful draw. Yeah, we're on the attack all here. They can double block and kill our 2/2 and take 4 if they want. But we get to trade into the Mayhem Patrol. They've only got 1 card in hand here. We're still gaining life. We're going to gain even more once this Newsy gets down. Snooping Newsy is like the card of the matchup here. Another land for our opponent. Looks like probably going to be game for us. We're just hitting them for 4 this turn, so not immediate game. But we're gaining 6 life here. We're not losing any creatures. Oh, Torch Breath will lose us a creature. Do we dig up the body here? I think we dig up the body here, since that's going to die anyway. Pick up our big Blitz cards to definitely find lethal next turn. Oh, wow, Night Clubber is a really good one too. Actually going to take 1 Night Clubber, 1 Girder Goons. And they're going to scoop them up. That is going to be game 1 in our favor here. This matchup's actually pretty interesting. I don't even think I sideboard for this matchup, because I think our biggest cards for this kind of matchup are the cards like Snooping Newsy and Fake Your Own Death and stuff. Crooked Custodian's not great in here, but we do want as high of a creature count as possible. And cards like Witness Protection are going to be really bad in this matchup, because as we saw, most of their creatures are pretty small. We saw 1 4/5, but the majority of creatures we're going to see from Rakdos are going to be these little things that aren't going to get that much smaller by putting a Witness Protection on them. We also, again, we saw that 1 4/5, but pretty much everything else in their deck was something that cost less than 4, so playing a Disdainful Stroke only to copy a few cards in their deck is going to be pretty inconsistent. I don't even think this is a security bypass matchup, because we're just trying to get bigger creatures than theirs. Just clear out their few large creatures to attack with our own. I'm pretty sure this is a matchup where we just run it back. And this is definitely a mulligan. This is definitely a mulligan. I mean, almost everything in here is a 2-drop and we're on the draw. But I feel like we got a mull to 5. Cannot keep a 1-lander with this deck. Okay, we get rid of 2 lands here. This hand's really bad too, though, because we don't do anything till turn 4. Definitely not a mull to 4. Real bummer of a start of this game. Some bad mulligans here, some rough mulligans. Couple 1-landers to start. Well, we're drawing the lands we need to get to Echo Inspector, but a turn 2 Crooked Custodian from our opponent's really going to punish us for the mull to 5. Yep, they've got the curve out as well. We're on the mull to 5 with no plays till turn 4. Probably heading into game 3 here. Rebel Ruiner. We are so incredibly dead here, it's not even funny. Expendable Lackey to hand, woo! All we can do is 1 blocker this turn, no matter what, so we'll go for the Inspector, discarding the Lackey. And then we will die to a removal spell. Alright. That removal spell required them to sack a creature, so they're not quite killing us now. We're going down to 3. Going down to 1. Going down to 0. Yeah, they still kill us. Because of Blitz. Alright. Well, what do we learn from that game? Don't draw 1-landers. Don't get forced into the mull to 5 with no plays till turn 4. That game was definitely just a gimme there. A freebie, if you will. So we're on the play for the final game, which I am a fan of if we can get a solid hand here. This is not a solid hand, no plays till turn 4 again. How many 2-drops do I have? Am I just overestimating? I think I have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5. 3 Newsy, Broker's Veteran, and Crooked Custodian. Rough. We're going to have to mulligan this. As you can see from last game, we cannot keep just a hand that doesn't do anything till turn 4, even if we're on the play. Jesus Christ. Hand of nothing but combat tricks, and now a hand with no black source. This is the saddest way we could end the Arena Open. Please, Lord of RNGesus, give us a swamp at least so we can try to play this game. Nope. Just was not in the cards for us this time around. Wow. I'm going to keep this in hand so I could connive it with Raffine's Silencer. I guess this is the karmic retribution from our last opponent who got disconnected. Wow. Yep. We're not going to get anywhere this match. I think this match was actually like a really good matchup for us if we just drew our mana sources. Cards like Raffine's Silencer, Snooping Newsy, our Blitz card that gives -1/-1 to their whole board are like really good against their deck. But we just could not hit our... We just had awful mulligans in 2 of our 3 games for the freebie wins. Yeah, I mean, it's a great Rakdos aggro deck from our opponent. It's exactly what the Rakdos aggro deck wants to be, but I think we just had a good matchup, but still drew poorly. We're just dead here, right? These both hit us for 4. I mean, these hit us for 4 together, and they're menace, so we can't block them at all. Plasma Jockey just shuts off anything we play to block. We can only play 1 card because of the black source. Yeah, we're just dead. That's 3-2. Sad way to end this Arena Open, but at least we got some gems out of this one, and a pretty good win rate overall. I'm really happy with that. The Arena Opens are always going to be some of the most competitive events on Arena. They're going to be the highest stakes tournaments, so the most competitive players you can play against. And I went 6-3 twice in a row in the sealed, and then I went 7-2, and then here in the draft portion I went 3-2. So still a really respectable win rate against fierce competition like it was, and I'm super happy with that performance from this deck overall. Yeah, I'm happy to 3-2 with this deck. I'm just really unhappy that I lost against that Rakdos deck with this deck, because I think this deck's generally very good in that matchup. And we just got absolutely pooped on there, unfortunately. So yeah, if we lost the mirror match, if we flipped those matches around and I won against that Rakdos deck last round and then I lost against the mirror match that got disconnected, then I would have been way happier with the exact same results. But losing to that Rakdos deck, that was sad. It's a very good Rakdos deck, but I think that our deck is pretty well positioned to beat that kind of deck, and still just got the full-on loss there. Well, that is unfortunately going to end today's video. We did not make it to the cash money prizes, but we made it as far as some gems prizes, which is pretty nice. I'm only down 2,500 gems total after playing the Arena Open day 1 3 times. Because the first 2 times I played the day 1, I only got 2,500 gems back for 6 wins. And it costs 5,000 to enter each time. So I was down 5,000 gems until today, where I'm now down 2,500 gems. But it was a fun experience nonetheless. Nice to play some competitive Magic, and I'm excited to do it again on May 28th for the qualifier weekend event. That is going to be another sealed day 1, draft day 2 event. However, that time, unlike the Arena Open, you only get to play day 1 one time. You got one shot and you're out. So we're going to be doing our best on May 28th in the qualifier weekend day 1, hopefully doing well enough to maybe get the qualifier day 2 event as well. In the meantime, just some more casual drafts and stuff. New Capenna drafts are the quick draft format of choice now for another week or two. So I'll probably play some New Capenna quick drafts. And then, yeah, kind of mix it up with whatever formats they put on Arena. So once again, thank you all very much for watching. And I will see you all again soon for some more Magic Arena.